In the previous episode of Moshiach Medical Minute, we discussed how parents should protect their children from the dubious and invasive PCR nasal test. Question for today is, do Jewish schools have a right to require the COVID test as a prerequisite to attending school? The answer is no, they have no such authority. It's a grave violation of halacha to unjustly ban a child from Talmud Torah simply because his parents wisely wish to avoid this halachically dubious medical procedure as they are entitled. We cannot tolerate such unprecedented government overreach, usurping the autonomy of our moistus, putting our children in harm's way for no valid reason. It's time to stand up to the unreasonable and draconian dictates of the state. Administrators who are too compromised, apprehensive, or feeble-minded to wean their moistus from government domination and dependency should simply step down and let a worthier individual take over. Such utter corruption has no place in our moistus chinuch, entrusted with the sacred task of providing our children with chinuch al taras hakodesh. This test is not Tahor. It is not Al Taras HaKodesh. The ideology behind state-sponsored COVID policy in its entirety is not Al Taras HaKodesh, but exactly the opposite. The fact that this foreign and secularist agenda has infiltrated our moistus chinuch is al derech yivanim nichnusu lehechel, Rachmana litzlan. Rabbeinu Nisienu were loichem b'chol ha'toikef to resist government interference in the education of children in the Russian Empire. Subjecting our pure and precious children to this COVID madness and unjust testing is effectively exposing them to the very worst form of secular and unholy ideology dictated by dubious public health ideologues. How could we, who claim to perpetuate the legacy of our holy Rabbeim, and most of all our Rebbe, who insisted on Chinuch al Taras HaKodesh, how could we betray our calling and contaminate our tired children's young, impressionable minds with such brazen secular ideas? Limudei choel melashin chulin v'chilul, chalila v'chas. An unprecedented chilul Hashem and chilul Shem Lubavitch. Oyem v'noira, Shemu shamayim. Our Rabbeim cried out, Al tigu b'Mashiachai, touch not my anointed, do not abuse Tinoika shel Beis Rabban. Let us turn to the administrators of our moistus and cry out, Al tigu b'Mashiachai, do not betray our children. Ve'ein laharech v'davar ha'metzayer. We demand in the name of everything holy that this perverse travesty that has infiltrated our ranks and our moistus be fixed immediately, and that those responsible should step down for the sake of Yaldei Yisrael and for the very kiyum of Klal Yisrael, and not just Klal Yisrael, but also Prat Yisrael. That every single Jewish child who has been unjustly prevented from attending Talmud Torah due to this horrific secularist policy should be welcomed back to school with open arms and with bakashas mechila for all the unspeakable humiliation and marginalization that these innocent children suffered, not to mention the reprehensible bittul Torah. Let us hope and pray by insisting on the inalienable right of every Jewish child to an uncompromising chinuch al taras hakodesh, emes al taras hakodesh, by upholding the integrity and purity of the Eibishter's anointed ones, Tinoika shel Beis Rabban, that in that schus may we bring about the isgalus of Hashem's anointed King, Matzasi David Avdi b'Shem and Kodshi b'Shachtiv, Tekef Umiyad Mamash.